morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I am delighted today, Michele, to introduce Michele Zimmer-Forster. Michele with one L. I don't find that very often, so I feel like we have an extra little connection. But education is at the core of our mission here at LSIN, and so we're just delighted to have Michele present today Silent Cries for Help. Michele Zimmer-Forster is the resident counselor at Falcons Landing and a psychotherapist at Counseling and Coping Strategies, LLC. Welcome, Michele.
I was obedient. I turned all the cameras off.
All right, Michele Darwin, we're taking you off the spotlight, and Michele Zimmer-Forster, you're up.
So I wanted to approach this with humility, and I thank everyone for making this possible. I have the pleasure of serving as a clinical social worker at Falcons Landing, and I have my own little company, Counseling and Coping Strategies, where I offer psychotherapy and counseling. Psychotherapy reimbursed by Medicare and other insurances I am certified with, and counseling for people who are unable to qualify for a Medicare psychotherapy session. Medicare's very determined rules as what psychotherapy means and how you can do the billing. And some people, just because they have early stages of dementia or other difficulty, cannot participate in therapy, which is a two-way street, but they benefit from counseling, which is a lighter form of it. So I offer both services. I have my own website, and you can go and look at this. As for Falcons Landing, I love our population. Some of you know me from being here. I do a combination of clinical work and casework, and I'm very passionate about it. I want to thank the people who have inspired me along this journey, my supervisors here at Falcons Landing, my teachers at the Catholic University that I'm a graduate of, the interns and all the people I've interfaced with, supervised for licensure. I've learned from everyone I've met, including from some of the people that are present today. So I would like now to go to the presentation. If you have any questions, my credentials at the end, please call me. I'm happy to answer them. So how do I switch to my slide presentation?
So Michele, if you come back here to Zoom and click share screen, you should be able to see that big green button.
Yes, we go. Here we go. And I go share.
Perfect. Look at that.
Right. So we all face professionally and personally interface with seniors. And it's a large population in the United States, growing faster with the baby boomers than actually children. And they have a specific way to communicate, right? Often they don't communicate at all. So how do I do this now? It's, we are the village. We are the village that they frequent professionally, personally, and otherwise. And as I say, your village is a family members, caregivers, friends, acquaintances, and professionals around a person. It takes teamwork, patience, sensitivity, focus, and willingness to spot the need for help. And I want to say this and give homage to one of my good friends. Don't know if she's Lynette Jacob. She gave me for Christmas a wonderful book called The Gift of Therapy by Irvin Yalom. And this book is an open letter to a new generation of therapists and their patients. A major ingredient in whatever we do, how good we are at organizing, at helping, at bathing, a major ingredient is to care, right? That makes all the difference. It's a difference between a computer and a live discussion with someone. So I want to add this to my, takes teamwork, patience, sensitivity, focus, willingness to spot the need for help, and above all, care, which needs to pervade everything we do. Oops. Sorry. So not everything is a cry for help. That's why we are professionals in each of our professions. I want to tell you a funny story that came upon when I was at a dog show. A friend of mine had a heart problem. He's aged, he's overweight, and on the ground he was. He's also a ladies' man, so all the ladies battled to give him CPR. However, he was breathing. He just needed 911 and help. And one of the first tasks, I was standing there and I thought, you know, he doesn't need help. He just needs people to step back, give him breathing space, somebody to call 911, and we're gone. So not everything is a cry for help. And I want to suggest that before we determine that something's happening, we need to look for signs. And I'm giving here a few, there are many more, but clearly somebody asks for help, even if it's somebody lying in a bed, not able to word anything else, but say, help, help, help. And you go by, you need to kind of check and get help if you're not the qualified professional to provide it. But people may say this to soothe themselves. It may be a sign of loneliness, or it may be a sign of pain or something else, but you can't ignore when somebody straightforwardly asks for help. It's far and few in between. Most likely, you're going to notice unspoken changes, physical changes, what appears to be vision or hearing loss, right? Or seeing things, hallucinations, mobility changes, gait and balance. The person walks like a sailor on a boat that goes right and left. Appetite changes, trouble sleeping. Person will say, will be up at night, or say they don't sleep, or appear as if they're getting very tired during periods of the time of the day when they were awake. A persistent loss in energy. You see that because if a person like to go for a walk, talking about seniors here because that's my area of practice, you want to know that you notice something's different. Emotional changes, somebody who has mood swings, who will be snappy in their answers, not want to go out and socialize. No, I'm tired today, my leg hurts. And that is if the person was social up to this point. I mean, you know, you can't forcibly socialize a person who's been a loner all their life. You have to get to know the person, which is the premise of all our professions, is that we come into a situation, we have to get acquainted with that person, right? Because people are different. They don't fit all in the one mold. And then other things you may notice is drinking or other addiction behaviors. My back hurts, my back keeps hurting, even though the physicians do not discover anything changing. So usually a good clue is if a person self-neglects. Somebody who has been very, has been grooming themselves very well, very interested in wearing a set of colors, women and men, you all of a sudden doesn't care, wears the same clothes over and over. Okay, because they are there, they are available for the taking, and sometimes they're not that clean. A person may have trouble with their personal hygiene, right? And clothes don't get washed because you pick the same clothes that are available that you took off the night before. Another clue is driving challenges. A person gets lost. You know, you get calls from somebody at the front desk at Falcons Landing saying, you know, I'm here, I'm not exactly sure this is the right place. And a person will try to cover it up. They don't want to lose face. They don't want to appear not knowledgeable, because, you know, we all want to be accepted, embraced, and valued for who we are. And the people we serve, all of them, have dedicated their lives to their country, and their wives have been their support system. So they're used to do all they can do, and it's difficult for them to even realize that something isn't working. But, you know, multiple fender benders, even getting into a parking spot on property. A person misses medical appointments and calls 2 hours later saying, you know, I thought I had an appointment today, but I must have written it in the wrong day in my calendar, and running out of medications. Not sometimes because the medications are taken, and then you will see signs of that by the person in the wrong fashion, but because they put it somewhere when they got it and didn't take it. And has trouble with familiar appliances. You know, when somebody misuses the microwave or the stovetop, and either of these items become storage, it is a very difficult thing for them to, it usually starts a fire, or there is something happening and you know straight away. What I want to say is, and then the person's living environment, usually bills, you know, clutter, paperwork, I'll get to it. Dirty dishes in the kitchen, loading the dishwasher, you know, overflowing trash containers, items out of place, like a milk carton on the stove and the flour in the fridge. Bills, as I said, are left unpaid, and mail is accumulating, and the phone is often off the hook. Relatives call the front desk and say, you know, we can't reach so-and-so. Oh, I left the phone off the hook. Right. We also have calls saying, you know, television doesn't work because they're trying to change channels with a phone. And one day we'll get to that. So maybe they're just ahead of their time. So I've been there, and now we're going there. So I wouldn't say the person leaves a few letters on what I am looking for professionally is not the one-time occurrence, not because I definitely would need a lot of help. Not the one-time occurrence, but myself, but the thing that is a pattern. Systematically misplacing the keys happens more than once in a week, over a period of a week or of time. And if you come in, for instance, as a home health or home care company or care manager, that is not something you automatically know, and you have to rely on the people on the ground in the facility to provide that, that information. So that's where the village comes in. We're working with staff in the facilities. You are invited to work with them and staff. Be considerate of the people you call in for help, communicating with them. The information that's necessary for the care is absolutely crucial. So patterns set the tone, right? If you see it a couple of times, no need to panic. But it is true as well that in most professions that come to help from the outside into a facility, they're usually called in a crisis, right? And that is not because staff is sleeping on the job, but because themselves to become aware of difficulty happens after a couple of weeks, a couple of days, and then a communication needs to be very good to start the person you ask for help in the right way. That's what I call a village, right? We all work together. So you need to really understand what's happening. Most older adults are scared of becoming insignificant and lose their independence. You know, we're talking to people who have commanded large groups of men, who've been involved in policy, and now they are retired. So that is a difficult passage. And then if they become losing control of body functions or their mind, that's even more scary. So the first instinctive thing is to try and hide it, right? To do things as you think you always did and hope for the best. So people are also changing from a more involved life with other people, especially during COVID, which played a big role, because they've retired from successful jobs, lost contact with former friends. Sometimes they move from neighborhoods or even other towns to the facility where they are. suffer the loss of a good friend, of a spouse. They have relocated, have health problems developing with age. Not everybody, but a lot of people develop health problems. Simply have difficult.
Hey guys, it looks like Michele just dropped.
Uh-oh. I wonder if she knows.
Probably not. Does someone have her contact number?
Hey, this is Leah at Falcons Landing. I'll call her office real quick.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Leah.
Thank it was really good too, what she was saying.
It was really good. Is there anyone who didn't get a chance to say hi in the beginning? Okay, well, talk amongst yourselves.
Hey, I'd like to opportunity to say hi. This is Olivia with Heartland Hospice, and just wanted to, say good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day today, and I hope you all are having a great morning. We provide, just so you're aware, phenomenal hospice care to patients that are eligible. We support all of Northern Virginia, and we also provide palliative care. So what I tend to do is when I meet with families initially, have that benefits discussion, review their goals of care, and answer any questions that they have. And if they're not, I'd say almost 10 times out of 10, they want to see if they're hospice eligible just because of all the benefits that they can receive. It's 100% covered by practically any insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, most commercial insurances as well. So if for whatever reason the patients are not found hospice eligible, we also offer palliative care. So we can, give them palliative care, which is nurse practitioner help in their home. They can still order durable medical equipment that's covered. There are some deductibles involved with palliative, but at that point, they're still receiving great care in the home, which is their goal. We bridge them over to receive hospice care as soon as they're eligible. So it's a really great, great system and wonderful team, fabulous nurses. So if you know anybody who needs a little extra support, even if they're not hospice eligible, guarantee that they will be so appreciative that you kind of advocated for them and shared some information to get them additional care. So please think of Heartland and reach out to me directly. I did put my contact information in the details as well. So thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks, Livia. Is Michele back?
She's coming back on in just a second. IT is fixing her computer and I'm sending her the link right now. So she'll just give us one more minute.
And I can bring her slides on screen too. That way she can talk through her phone, but then I can run through the slides.
Actually, Derek, can we actually have 2 spotlight speakers today? And since we have this law, why don't we have one of them go ahead and present? So Margot, are you here?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, fantastic. Sorry, I never know if I'm saying your name right because it has a very unique spelling.
It's Margot. You got it.
Okay. So here is Margot. She's with Private Home. She is one of our spotlight speakers today. And just so you know, like if you are a level 3 sponsor of LSIN, you have the opportunity to do one of these wonderful spotlights. You get some time to about 3 minutes to share about your company. So Margot, girl, take it over.
All right, thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm Margot Callahan. I'm with Private Home. I'm actually fairly new with the company. I joined in November, and I'm actually really new to the industry as well. I've been in sales and marketing my whole career, but with pharma and hotels. Sorry, is someone trying to talk? I couldn't hear.
No, sorry, Derek. Can you mute everybody?
Yep.
Except Margot, of course.
Thanks. Sorry, I didn't know if someone was talking. So been in pharma and hotels. So I'm new to the industry, new to Thrive at Home, but really excited coming in to help build a community presence for them and be within the community, supporting our referral sources and being just a really good contact of communication to the referral sources. Thrive at Home is a very small and family-owned company out of Fairfax. Julie Black has been in the industry for 25 years, and she really is the driving force of why I took this job. I've always worked for large corporations, but her history, her experience, her love of what she does and the caregivers that she supports and the clients she supports was so inspiring and beautiful that I couldn't pass up this opportunity to learn this industry. So she is just a huge, huge part of why I'm here. A little bit about Thrive at Home. Again, we're a private duty home care company. Our caregivers most of them have 5+ years experience because of how long Julie has been in this industry. We have 3 full-time nurses on staff, which I think is super important, not only because we can clearly do assessments same day and respond to customers' needs quickly, but in terms of supporting our caregivers and our families, there's always a nurse that they can call if they have questions or concerns about the health of the client. Which I think is just a beautiful thing, and it's a really important way that we support our families. So even family members as well as caregivers can call our nurses 24 hours, 7 days a week, and the nurses can give them advice on how to handle things, or if they need to go to the doctor or the hospital or things like that. Another thing that I think is very unique about Thrive at Home, we have a social worker actually on staff. It's been so fun listening to Michele so far. And I think having an actual social worker on staff to take those intakes and to support the family members along the journey of making the decision to have a private duty caregiver in the home, or supporting them to the next place of when they decide to leave the home, is extremely valuable. And I've realized that even just the few months that I've been doing this, that they really need not only the steps of just how do we get somebody in the home, or what's the best way to transition from 24/7 caregivers to maybe just 5 or 6 hours a day, but really working with the nurses and the social worker to make that determination with the patient or the family. So we are really a small team, and we are involved with every client, between myself, communicating with the referral source or the hospitals on behalf of the family, with our social worker hand-holding these clients, or our 3 nurses on staff supporting the medical side of things. So just really happy to be here and a part of the community, and a really learning from all of you, because again, being new to the industry as a whole is been challenging, especially within COVID and not being able to get out there and meet people. So this has been wonderful.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you so much. Welcome to the industry. You're going to find it's a great one. So I think we got Michele back. So, Derek, can we get her?
Michelle's back, and she's in my office, and I'm going to let her sit here.
Okay, great. Thanks, Leah.
Hi, Derek. Can you bring up my my chart?
I sure can. Absolutely. Let me go ahead and
thank you very much. I'm so sorry.
Screen.
IT took over my computer. IT doesn't like me. They love her. I'll go sit out here, that way you can take your mask off. Thank you. Thank you. Do I have my chart?
Yes, ma'am. And I believe I have it on the correct slide.
Can take the mask off. So it's to understand the individual situation, go back to what I was talking about, to establish a rapport. It's what social workers do to kind of really tune into the person and how they feel and how they respond, no matter what level of impairment. Social work isn't just addressing problems with qualified individuals, but with all individuals, and we go to where the person is. And we go there, thank you, Lynette, with care and compassion. And we actually try and understand where they come from, including cultural differences, because in Northern Virginia, you know, there is a wide array of people who come from very different backgrounds. And in order to provide appropriate services, we need to understand who they are and where they are from. So how do I move those slides along?
Just have to say move. I get to be your slide mover.
Okay, thank you. So how do you offer help? You know, what I've seen happening in my career, and I've been at Falcons Landing for nearly 15 years, so I must like it, right? They actually, people jump in and they come in with a big artillery, and there's just a little slide sitting there. And all you want to do is actually figure out a point of entry. Because if you hit somebody with a flat, not pointed arrow, you're not as good. You want to find a point of entry, and it may be very small. So for all the people here who do organizing, who do flower arrangement, who offer to call people, who are there when it makes a huge difference. Beauticians make a huge difference. Because a person may want to start, if a person has a reason to start feeling good about themselves, to feel proud about what they have accomplished, a table has been cleared. Not the whole apartment, but a table. Somebody's come in and helped with that. Somebody's helping them, care managers, with appointments. That matters. And they feel, they get a sense they can be successful, right? Because defeat generates defeat, and you've down that little rabbit hole and you have no way to look out. So help, one letter at a time. Next slide. So as I say, slow and steady and smart, right? That's where the professionals you are come in. You don't want to throw at people things they don't need. You want to make an individual plan. You want to really get to know the person and the situation, see what the support system are, assess it. And I am a very direct person by nature, by inclination. So I give the respect to people who have, who can still understand what I'm saying. I share my concern with a person that I think needs help, right? Because people may, all of a sudden you start to deploy the, to start the artillery, and they think, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? I don't want any of this. This isn't what I'm used to. What you want to do is share with the person that you think needs help, and not be afraid to get in there and help. You know, somebody has a clutter on the table. You say, you know, that would be really nice when we sit down to talk. Can I put these things in piles that fit together? I'm not an organizer, but I made a little dent. I started to put my foot in the door to show that what I'm here for is not to judge, because you can say you're not going to judge, but they don't believe you until you've established a rapport and the trust. But I'm here to help, which is what you all are. You normalize the situation. People may get very anxious and panicked about the thought that they're doing something wrong. People strive to do well. And so normalize the situation. You know, this happens to a lot of people, would I say. After COVID, people have been overwhelmed. Things haven't been normal. So let's just, you're not the only one. And let's just see what we can do to help you get back to doing things in a more positive way, right? Then I discuss the solution. If I find that something is needed, and discuss the solution, because there is no way, sorry for the language, no one way to skin the cat. So you can actually tell them that, you know, these are options. You think we could do it this way? Involve them in the solution. And then be very attentive to the reasons for opposition. Now, I don't want housekeeping in here. No, it's too messy. Now, we all know the purpose of housekeeping would be to help clear up with it. So what else could we do? I'll give you a concrete example. What else could we do? Well, we could maybe, you think your daughter, who now can come back in and help you, will help you. No, I don't want her to see that. So you go from solution to solutions. I've ended up clearing the kitchen of somebody. I don't find it beyond me, because that was a way for that person to grow from a desperate situation she didn't know, she couldn't find the answers to a very normal situation again, right? She then, when it was a bit organized, allowed housekeeping in, and everything was fine. Person has no mental health issues and no dementia. Sometimes if you really run up against the wall and it's very critical, you use the tools that you all have, professional tools. You reach out to the physician, you reach out to family, and in really, you know, we all, nurses and social workers and other professionals, we are mandated reporters. So that is another avenue that you can use. But that's in case of you're basically at the end of your risk. Also, you come into a situation where people have multiple problems. Not good to start all at once, because it's very overwhelming for the person. Yes, they want a clean apartment, and yes, they want somebody to talk to, and yes, they want some entertainment activities, and they would like flowers. But if you throw all of that at them, it doesn't empower them. It makes the person feel assisted, which no one wants to. Remember, when we talk about, they want to be valued members of a community, just like all of us. Okay, next slide. So I have looked at my work here at Falcons Landing and in my private practice as a privilege, not an imposition, to go the extra length. Because, as I said, the book my friend Lynette gave me is to put the word care back into everything we do. Because I do believe that all the professionals that are here are professionals. They know their job. And often we take on a lot of things in the day, but we have to make the time for the main ingredients. You don't have a bread without flour. You have to always put the flour in, and that is care. So next slide. So these are my credentials. As I said at the beginning, I'm the resident counselor at Falcons Landing, and I'm also a psychotherapist at my own little company, and I operate it only on Saturdays. Currently, I'm operating by telehealth, but I have an office in Lansdowne. I will go to a facility to provide counseling or psychotherapy for qualifying individuals if there is more than one person, because of the transport time and the time I only work on Saturdays. But thank you very much, and please, if you have any questions, I'm happy to entertain them.
Thank you very much for coming here, being with us today, Michele. What we're going to do for a couple of minutes, Peggy, if we have time, is some questions in the chat.
Okay.
So we'll do questions for about 7 minutes here. It's about 9:45, if people have them. And if you do want to ask them on camera, just put your hand up. You can raise your hand. Just click that little icon to raise your hand, or you can just drop a chat and I can bring you on screen.
Well, I was very comprehensive and nobody has questions.
You're very clear. Absolutely. And Michele, are we allowed to share your slides out?
Oh, yes, by all means.
Okay, very good, very good.
They were like talking points, you know. Everybody in every environment kind of makes their job their own. And I have had the privilege of doing that at Falcons Landing and the mentoring of my supervisors. And I am, so I have been able to start the job here at Crisis Landing as I'm a clinical social worker, as you see. And I also, which I have not on the slide, I have a dementia care certification. So I work, actually it's my passion to work with people with dementia.
Very good.
Mine too, Michele.
Who is that speaking?
It's Peggy.
Uh-huh.
We do have a question here from Lisa. So Lisa, you should be on camera on screen now.
Hi, that was a wonderful presentation, Michele. Thank you very much. I own a professional organizing company, and I love that I work with a lot of therapists. So I definitely want to set an appointment to talk to you because the mental and the physical clutter, that's what I'm writing a book about that right now, because it's so overwhelming for people to see the clutter and feel the clutter and don't know where to start. So all the points that you made were just explained in a different way, what you do and how it can help people. But I love that you go the extra mile. If there's something you need to do at the house, you just do it. I've cleaned toilets. I've done whatever the client needs, and because you care, because you're there. And that's what I really love.
You have to establish some trust,
Exactly.
With the person. I mean, people are not numbers for me. I come into their lives. I feel very privileged to do that. As I said, it's a gift they give me. So I want to honor that gift, and I want to deserve it. Yes. And hoarding is a mental illness, and that hasn't happened because somebody woke up one morning and said, gee whiz, I'm going to be a hoarder. It happens over time, and then you have to address the causes of that if you want to chronic change. It's very hard with older adults to do psychotherapy because the grooves are very deep. This has happened over a long period of time. So the main ingredient for psychotherapy or intervention is which we don't have a lot of, it's a rare commodity, is to take time. And then we cannot bill, I mean, I don't bill at Crisis Landing, I'm salaried, but you cannot bill 2 hours of your time to try and get the help to the person. And if you could get a surface job, if you do a 15-minute job, you come in, you move a few things around. I mean, Leah's office, and her office is closed. Not my office, it's everywhere. But you actually want to, you get the result. You have a superficial result. What you're trying to do as a professional of any kind is to do change, to bring in change that is going to hold, that is going to get the person to a better place.
Right. No, it's beautiful. Yeah, everything you said, I admire everything you do, and I can just tell the passion that you have, which I love to connect to. It's not just a job. This is why we're here.
I'm not at my desk very often, but please do. I look forward to talking with you.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Lisa. We've got another question from Rebecca.
Sure.
Hi, Michele.
Hi, Rebecca.
Yeah, thank you for all this information. One question I have that has come up a lot in my personal life with friends and also in the professional life, it's with families of people, parents or loved ones that have dementia. I keep noticing that a lot of the families are usually in denial on the first stages of this. And you can see the signs, you can see it clear. Do you have any advice of how to be kind, but at the same time, you have to tell them the truth, and how to navigate this? Because sometimes, as you were addressing, is the person itself is figuring out some things, but when the family, who is the village, the first village, is in denial, how can you help? How can you address this? Both for me personally with my friends, but also professionally, I'm seeing it that too.
So as you understand, I deal with that all the time, right? In psychotherapy, with counseling and coping strategies, people call me and want to tell me what's wrong with the person that I'm supposed to see and tell me they have depression, right? So in my profession, I do psychotherapy. I use standard tools to assess for it, right? And from the results of those tools, I can objectively show them that the person doesn't have any symptoms of such. Now I go into, and I discuss that. What you have to remember is that you have to consider family members as part not of your village. Don't assume they are on your side. They are part of the village of the patient you care for, of the resident you care for. So they have a vested interest many times not to see the signs, not to want to see them. So it's a process. So for instance, at Falcons Landing, I do have those conversations with the family members, and we have a very proactive program to try and figure out when they are signed. And we have the whole facility. We have the second village coming in. I and myself, I interface with residents daily. You notice things that have changed, okay? So if I am concerned, I will reach out to the family and I say, you know, your mom has missed for the third time the appointment at the wellness clinic. Is she seeing another physician? I'm not attacking, I'm not criticizing, I'm not going to the ultimate goal. I give them notice. Oh, they say, I take care of it, I give her a call. Okay, so it goes weeks and then something else, another appointment is missed. And I said, you know, there seems to be something preventing your mom to keep her appointment. Have you talked it over with her? So I build a case, right? And the smartest person after a month or so will say, well, wait a minute, this isn't, and I will say, you know, it's a bit concerning. Could we maybe meet in person and discuss it with your mom? I always have the resident present, which is a challenge because you have to discuss it with two people at the same time. You don't have a privilege oftentimes when you are a care manager or you are asked to provide for an aide to be at an appointment or something like that. You don't have that privilege because all of a sudden you will have, you're thrown into a situation that you have to address quickly because it has culminated. So what I would recommend is that you really do a good work ahead. When you make contact with a person, you say, I would like your family to be, depending on the situation, some people have no family, some people have hostile family. You have to go with the resident patient, but involve them from the beginning. Have them be part of what you see, right? And again, don't start with the battery. If it's not a crisis, start at a point of entry. Something that's helpful, something that's not too expensive, because there is that, we cost money as professionals. Something that, you know, works for them, makes their life easier, make them an ally. It's not something you get, it's something you earn. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we're going to have to wrap up Q&A there, but I can tell that you're priming the pump for questions. So you got contact details for Michele. If anyone wants to reach out to her, we're going to make the recording as well as the PowerPoint available to the rest of the team. We are everyone here through LSIN, and that will go out through the Facebook page. So please join the Facebook page. And also, we usually try to send those out in our next email as well. So Peggy,
thank you for giving me this opportunity and to share my passion with all of you, and I look forward to seeing you sometime soon.
Thank you, Michele. It was a great. That was great. That was one of the better presentations. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that.
And I'm just going to thank Leslie and Allegra because they chair our education/speaker committee. So thank you guys for putting this together. I want to give the second spotlight speaker the opportunity to share with you now a little bit about their business. And Kathleen with Walton Woods, are you here?
Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
You've got all of us here. So Tiffany Ashton's here. Hello. Where are you, Tiffany?
I'm here.
And then Shandace is also here. Shandace Black is our independent living manager. Hello. So let me get the phone here. you want to start?
Okay, yep. So I'm Tiffany Ashton, one of the marketing managers here, along with Kathleen. And Janice Black is our independent living manager who has been with the company since before we opened our doors to independent living in 2017. Kathleen and I have both been here for the past 3 years. We came right before we opened our assisted living and our memory care communities.
We wanted to share how excited we are that we've been opening up little by little. We have had 4 vaccination clinics, and proud to announce that our staff and residents have all been vaccinated. And our residents are enjoying all of our life enrichment programs that are back up and running, our transportation, as well as our dining. So residents are back to enjoying all of those great things. And, you know, if you or you have clients that are looking for independent living, assisted living, or memory care, kindly reach out to either Tiffany or myself, and we can schedule your in-person tour. We are still also offering virtual as well. But for those in-person tours, they do need to be scheduled. So thank you so much for those few moments and the opportunity to speak to everyone today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kathleen and Tiffany. And again, just to recap, Walton Woods is a level 3 sponsor of LSIN, so they have an opportunity to do a spotlight, and they also have an opportunity to do a happy hour if they're interested. And on that note, the April happy hour, I want to announce what that is. It is Hunters Woods at Trails Edge is going to be doing a happy hour this month. So as a reminder, the happy hour is the 3rd Wednesday of the month. It has been virtual, but they have been asking to see if we can do it in person. So that might be a possibility. We have yet to discuss it. So it could be our first in-person happy hour moving forward. If we do an in-person happy hour, just on a side note, it would have to be limited numbers, obviously, and in an outdoor space. So look for that announcement coming soon. Either way, it's going to be Hunters Woods at Trails Edge in Reston, Maryland, or Virginia. Oh my God. I also want to just make a quick announcement that LSIN is going to be hosting an educational seminar virtually in May. So we will be sending out some announcements about that in the near future. So please look for that, register that. It's going to be an amazing lecture, and we're excited to be offering some additional educational events this year, as education is our focus and mission for LSIN. I also want to encourage everyone that, please invite people to this meeting. This is such a great resource for the community, the educational pieces that we offer, the networking that we offer. So if you know people in the senior living industry, please encourage them to attend this meeting. Very easy. Even though we had a technical difficulty today, it's a great way to connect with people and for all of us to learn more about what is available out there for the senior living industry. So those of you who have been with us for a while know that we, at the end of our in-person meetings, we did announcements. We would say, okay, who's having an event? And we kind of pulled back on that because of COVID, because no one was really having a lot of events. But I have been noticing that more and more people are starting to do some event planning. So if anyone has an event that they would like to share with the group today, please raise your hand, your little icon hand. Derek will let you in so that you can announce your event. And I just ask that you keep it brief. People sometimes have a tendency to go on, but just keep it brief because we are short on time and I want to be able to offer that to everyone. So looks like Heather has raised her hand.
Do you want to announce an event or something?
No, I was listening. I'm watching it.
Okay, because you have the events coming up, do you have something for Franken's Land?
I was thinking about it, but I want to do the lunch.
Okay, you guys, someone has their microphone on. Can we mute?
I got
it. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Hello, I'm Heather with Heritage Hall Health and Rehab. April 14th from 4 to 6, we do have a meet and greet with our new administrator, which I'm sure most of you already know Natalie anyways. So Natalie Twyman is now Natalie Largent's our administrator. And we also have a new assistant administrator. So from 4 to 6, come out and meet with them.
That's great. That's awesome. Great. Allegra?
Yes. Okay, so the millennials are hosting at the end of this month, April 29th, the Loudoun County AAA. Leslie will be coming to speak. All ages are invited to learn about what the area agency is doing for older adults and caregivers. We're also hosting Dementia Friends. If you haven't been a Dementia Friend yet, please come to an info session. We're doing one on the 29th. No, the 17th. It's all in the chat box, and that's at 6 o'clock. Anyone in Northern Oregon is invited. And also, we have happy hour, as I mentioned earlier, for millennials. So if you know any millennials who would like to learn about our volunteer club, we're having that coming up in May, and all the information's in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Allegra. Is there anybody else?
Is there a geezer networking meeting or?
Only in your house, Gary. All right, everybody. That is, unless I have.
Peggy, this is Ludden. How are you?
Oh, hi, Ludden. I'm good.
That was a great meeting today. Wonderful presentation. Thank you. So I have a big event coming up on May 1st, which is a Saturday. I'm doing a spotlight on how you can make your virtual and hybrid events more exciting. I have lots of different networking groups, businesses, and all sorts of folks talking about ways to up-level your events. So I'll be sending out details, and hopefully folks can join.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question. This city, you have happy hour, but I do not drink. So can you go even if you don't have a
drink? Of course. Oh, okay. You can drink water. You can drink anything you want. You don't even have to drink, but you can just socialize. So absolutely.
Water is good for hydration. So
yes, water
drink
is
something.
good for
Drink
hydration.
something.